Welcome to Primary Election Special 2014, presentation of Sonny Hirsch. I'm your host, Avi Myers. I'd like to introduce you to a candidate for Commissioner of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, Brendan Houlihan. Brendan, how you doing?
Yeah, happy to be here, Avi. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, I am a Southsider, so I'm from the southwest side of Cook County. I'm in Palos Heights. Live there right now with my wife and daughter. I'm a former commissioner at the Cook County Board of Review, which handled property tax appeals. Have an extensive background there. I held hundreds of community outreach programs throughout Cook County to assist taxpayers with their property tax appeals and trying to understand more about the process, kind of dummy down the process for them, and began the inroads to bring in online appeals to homeowners, because now homeowners can appeal their assessments, their assessment complaint online right now. So when I was at the Board of Review, we began inroads to bring that to fruition.
Very good. And I mean, before you were in politics, what did you do for a living? Or what do you do now?
Well, I was down at the Board of Trade, so I've been down there. I was down there about 22 years. I'm not there anymore. I worked for various financial institutions. I traded for a little while, then I went into executing trades for customers. So I had a customer base and worked for various financial institutions over the years. Then currently, right now, we have a small family business. My wife is a physical therapist, and my position at the Board of Trade was eliminated, like many jobs going on, like we experience all over the place. And so she took me on her payroll. So she taught me how to do the marketing. So I'm doing marketing and doing her books at the same time for her business.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. So what led to your interest in water reclamation, environment, and all that?
Well, first of all, I have a very young little girl, 3-year-old daughter, Aisley, and was just thinking about the environment and wanting to have a good environment for her when she grows older, and want to make sure Lake Michigan is sustainable for our future, because it's where all our drinking water comes from, and want to protect it, and I think it's an important thing, and I was just drawn to it that way, and looking for solutions to a lot of the flood damage that's happened, and trying to guard against different communities flooding, because it's a lot of heartache involved there.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it. So what are some of the possible solutions?
Well, I know as far as like the flooding, flooding is always best handled at the source, where it's the different villages all get the water during these heavy rainstorms, these 100-year storms that seem to be happening more often than every 100 years.
Yeah,
of course.
Maybe every year sometimes.
So, and everything runs downstream, so everything's going into our waterways and going towards different communities, and it'd be nice to keep some of that water on site for a little while, while the major water is going through, and a lot of that can be done through like green infrastructure, different ways of doing it, and a lot through education, like teaching people how to not be using real simple things, like not to be washing their clothes or doing the dishes when a rainstorm's going on, because it's putting more pressure on the system.
Oh, I never thought of that.
So things like that do work, but more people have to know about it, and there's this is, even with the deep tunnel project, I know all the pipe is laid down, and we're just waiting more of the reservoirs to open up, so that's going to help with the process as well. But more green infrastructure is really going to solve the problems, and be good to work with all the different communities, because the Water Reclamation District has a responsibility of dealing with the flood water, and I'd like to take a more active role in that area.
And now, by the way, Sonny and I actually were down in the deep tunnel twice filming.
Oh, very
so
nice.
That was, it was unbelievable to be there in the middle of winter, and it was like 58 degrees, 300 feet down, and that's our most watched show. We have something like 119,000 watches on that one.
Excellent.
So yeah, engineering, libraries, and all. When you talk about green infrastructure, what kind of green? I mean, give me some examples, please.
Well, there's rain gardens that hold rainwater on site.
Yeah.
There's permeable surfaces like asphalt, that the rainwater can go through and go into the ground.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to soak it into the ground. into
so
the system.
it can go through and go to the ground. Now, let me ask you: do you worry at all about, you know, it? I know it costs more. I don't know exactly, but with Chicago weather, I mean, won't it freeze in there? Won't it contract? Won't it break apart easier?
Yeah, but a lot of these companies, they have state-of-the-art, products now, and a lot of it stays just like the snow stays on the ground. It stays there until it warms up enough to melt, and it's the same thing with the ground.
Yeah, in order to get here today, you had to walk through ice and snow.
Yeah, a little icy out there.
Yeah, you know what? The salt doesn't work when it's 3 degrees outside. I laid out a ton of salt last night. By the way, this is actually my dining room, for those of you who don't know. So, and it just makes it easier. Sonny's got the whole studio set up here. He's the one who does it. And I was, when it was still 10 degrees out, I was putting all the salt I had out there. But lower than 5 degrees, ain't gonna help.
It's not working.
So no, hopefully there's enough of a clear path. So, what about green roofs? I mean, what kind of other things are green infrastructure?
There's there's different watersheds that hold water on different property. Rain barrels, that's something the water recommendation district kind of promotes, which is good. Anything that keeps water like on the source and going into our yards, is better than going into the system because it puts more pressure on the system and can cause flooding. It's nice to keep it on our own property, if we can, and get it to soak up on the land there.
Gotcha. Metropolitan Water District, it's actually kind of funny because it doesn't have all of Cook County, and I think it's got some things outside of Cook County.
Yes.
Which is why it's a state agency as opposed to a county agency. So that's a long area to have to campaign. So how are you going about it?
Going to as many events as possible. The good thing about it, when I was in office at the Board of Review, I represented over 100 towns and parts of Chicago. So I had a lot of exposure to the suburbs. The suburbs are a big, expansive part of Cook County, of course. Everywhere from Glenview and out to Bartlett and Schaumburg and down to I used to campaign in Park Forest, but Park Forest is not part of the Water Recommendation District.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the communities that's not. But down Orland Park, kind of near where I am, and just made a lot of inroads with different elected officials and talking to people. And I've always been a very passionate public servant. Take it very seriously. Consider myself a good government person. I want to look out for the taxpayers, and just built all these relationships running around Cook County, which is a good thing. So it kind of helped me jumpstart things a little bit more when I was, when I made the decision to run for this office.
Very good. Do you have a website?
I do. BrendanHoulihan.com.
And that's BERNDAN?
BRENDAN.
Sorry if I didn't say that right, but Brendan, not Brandon. Brendan.
Brendan, yes.
Yeah, not being a good Irishman, I don't know these things, so I have to make sure that I check that out. And, are you running with the slate of people? Are you on your own in your
I am on my own. I have the last spot on the ballot.
That's a good thing to have, actually, if you don't have the first.
I'm sure hope so. My punch number is 80. Working very hard, running around. Got a lot of support from family and friends, and a lot of people that encouraged me to do this. They thought it was a good fit for me, and I agree, and just working very diligently at it.
Very good. I want to thank you very much for being here, Brendan Houlihan. If you want to vote for him, punch 80. I want to thank you for joining us today on the Sonny Hirsch primary election special 2014. Thanks, of course, to Sonny Hirsch. I'm Avi Myers. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you.